In Mark 4 and Luke 8, Jesus continues with his message. He says, "Do you bring in a lamp to put it under a bowl or a bed? Instead, don't you put it on its stand? For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open. If anyone has ears to hear, let them hear." Matthew has a version of this in chapter 5, but in chapter 13, he follows up the parable of the sower similarly to how Mark and Luke continue. In response to the disciples' question about why Jesus teaches in parables, he says in Matthew, "Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have in abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them." Jesus realized that the people following him around were not necessarily deep thinkers. The intensity of the private teachings he offered his disciples could not be fully communicated through sermons or stories. The parables he shared offered introductions into his ideas, and those who were intrigued could dig deeper to find out more, while those who were confused would continue on in their confusion, much like they do now. Mark says he phrases it as, "Consider carefully what you hear. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and even more." And Luke says, "Whoever does not have, even what they think they have, will be taken from them." Just as the measures we take to connect with the kingdom of heaven get measured back to us, so are we also measured by our relationships to others, especially when we are critical of others about their place on this unbroken path of spiritual connection. We can lose our own place along the path. In Matthew 7, Jesus begins, "Do not judge, for you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Here, Jesus subtly demonstrates that judgment and condemnation come from humans and not from God. He says that the reason we are judged and condemned is because we judge and condemn. He says we also have the power to forgive, and that is how we will find forgiveness for ourselves. Matthew 7 and Luke 6 also share Jesus saying, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye." Connecting with the kingdom of heaven and cultivating a more intimate relationship with all that is requires directed thinking. It's easy to recognize the challenge and that as the attention economy calls us to be perpetually consuming and triggered, but it's always been a problem for our species. As Carl Jung said, thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. In Luke 6, Jesus says, "Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over into your lap sounds about as wonderful as Waffle House hash browns, covered, smothered, diced, and chunked. By humbly recognizing our place in our spiritual growth and not judging others for theirs, we are more able to fully enjoy our place in the journey. We must realize we are all simply experiencing different perspectives of the same unbroken path we all share.